Hello, this is Alex McNeil with Looking for Group. We're here today with Russell Hamer, who's the director and head coach of Mount St. Mary's University in Maryland. Russell, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here to talk about our program.
Yeah. The point of this interview is just to give you a chance to talk a little bit about your program, share some information, share some things that you think, folks who are thinking about playing esports in college might be interested in, might find relevant. And yeah, typically starting off these interviews, just asking a little bit about the history of the program, how it got started. Yeah, love to hear about that.
Sure. There was a gaming club on campus who was kind of them talking to the administration at the same time that the administration had started looking into it. It was a little fortuitous that both of them kind of met up at the same time and said, like, this is a good idea. We should do this.
Hmm.
At the time, I wasn't at Mount St. Mary's. I was at Illinois State University, and I was coaching over there. And Yeah, the gaming club and the administrators got together and kind of decided that this is something that the university should look into. They decided to establish a program, and I got hired to come and run it. So we're moving into our first year right now. We spent most of last year hiring me and then kind of planning the program, getting everything together so that we can hit the ground running starting now in fall of 2020.
Nice. So, what do you have planned for this first year competitively?
So we're starting off with competitive teams, like varsity teams in League of Legends, Overwatch, Rocket League, Smash Brothers, Ultimate, and 2K.
Nice.
Um, Always open to that list changing. Certain games come and go in their popularity, or as our student body has certain interests. We'll be competing both in the Eastern Collegiate Athletic Conference and probably also in the Northeast Collegiate Conference. Maybe doing some tournaments here and there. Um, there's always room for the program to grow and to change, but that's kind of where we're starting out now.
Yeah. So, some schools debut programs that are only for, varsity scholarship athletes. Others roll out ones that are more hybrid models where there's opportunities for, anyone on student on in the student body to participate. Which one of those models or different, one are you going with? And yeah.
Sure, yeah. We'll have more of the hybrid model where we've got varsity teams, we've got scholarship athletes, but at the same time, we're supporting club teams. We've got some students who are. We don't have Valorant as a varsity team right now because the game came out in the summer. We hadn't really planned for it,
Hmm.
and we didn't want to put together a varsity team without the game
Yeah,
developing some
right.
legs. But it very likely will. It's getting bigger and bigger. So we've got some students doing a club team in Valorant that is kind of being run through our program. And then it's very likely the case that next year that club program will just become a varsity team.
Yeah.
We've got different club teams. We've got casual players. The space that we have is open to everybody. And then we have a lot of student leaders who run events. We run internships and stuff like that. So there's a lot of um, interaction between individuals of various interests, people who want to stream, people who want to manage, people who want to play competitively, people
Yeah.
who just want to hang out and play with their buddies.
So yeah, going off that, I'm curious about like it sounds like you might offer some sort of occupational opportunities to students and provide some training around content creation or I mean, tell me a little bit about that side of the house.
Sure. Previously to this job, I was an academic. I was a philosophy professor, so I come from the teaching side of things. My research was in curriculum development. So part of what I've been doing here at Mount St. Mary's is developing some academic offerings.
Hmm.
We are putting together an esports and game studies minor. I'm currently running a streaming practicum in our space. We have a little streaming lab,
Cool.
so students get course credit for running our university streams. We've got some internships set up with a couple of companies in the area that work in esports. The person who runs SmashCon Smash Brothers convention,
Mm-hmm.
and also the Smash World Tour is an alumni of our university. So we've been chatting with him about
Cool.
trying to set up job opportunities for people who want to get into event production or streaming, or even the business and marketing side of things. So we're looking to kind of connect with students, not just on the competitive and fun side of things, but also, yeah, looking at those career opportunities, looking at building relationships with area companies so that students can, um, even if they didn't know that those opportunities were available, they can
Right.
find out about them. They can intern and figure out, I wanted to be a marketing major, and now I can actually do esports marketing. Like, that's
Yeah.
a specific thing I can do because I've interned with this marketing company. I've been doing esports stuff. So we're trying to open a lot of those doors for our students.
Nice. So earlier you were kind of telling me a bit about the facility that you're rolling out in fall. Why don't you share a little bit of information about that? What are you planning? What are you going to roll out? What kind of gear maybe is going to be featured there? Yeah.
Sure. So we've got a full building to ourselves. It was a building that hadn't been used in a year or two. It used to be a dance hall. Um, and then another building was made, and they kind of moved all of the larger events over there, and this one just had a bunch of chairs sitting in it. Um, so it's about 2,300 square feet. It's a pretty big
Oh, it's
space.
big, yeah.
My office is in there. We've got a streaming lab in there. We've got a bunch of consoles and couches, little kind of hangout area. We've got a bunch of PCs. There's a stage in there, and up on the stage, we kind of have our practice and game space. So it's separated from the rest of the space, and it's just for our varsity teams to practice so that we can have people hanging out, playing games in kind of the main area, and the varsity team can still be practicing kind of slightly secluded so they're not distracted by everything else. So yeah, it's a pretty big space. Can fit lots of people in there, and we're looking at both PC console stuff. Um, as far as gear goes, we've got we partner with Lenovo. We're bringing in their newest line of Legion gaming computers. So,
Nice.
um, you know,
Yeah.
Gen 10, i9s, and RTX 2060s, and all the good stuff.
Sweet. Yeah. Cool. So, there's a ton of programs that are cropping up all across the country. I'm curious about what you think makes your program unique, something that makes it special. Yeah.
Sure. So I think part of what makes our program unique is the Mount's focus is not merely on giving our students an education, but on helping them grow into well-rounded individuals. And that's kind of built through and through with all the programs that we run. So, program that I'm running here at the Mountain Esports, we're not just playing games, we're not just competing. I'm running seminars for all of my students on how not to tilt. I'm running seminars on how to give and take criticism, things like that, that we want to build all of our programs into things where, sure, you'll enjoy playing the games, and learning how not to tilt will make you a better teammate. It'll also just make you a better person because it helps you manage your emotions.
Hmm.
Learning how to manage stress and anxiety in the middle of a game when all the focus is on you. Like, those are very useful skills for the rest of your life. And so a lot of the programs at the Mount are built to give you those kind of soft skills while you're learning all of the stuff that you want to learn and engaging in the things that you want to engage in. So I think that's one of the things that makes us unique, is that it's not just about competing with us. It's not just about learning stuff in our classes, but it's about all of these things working together to
Hmm.
build you into a well-rounded individual.
Nice. So, on a somewhat related note, last question. What's something that you would tell a student who's right now in the process of looking for a program to play in? Either, they're probably starting to think about college applications for next fall, pitfalls to avoid, things that you really look for as a coach, anything that's on your mind.
Sure. So I think a few questions that students really should ask are there's a lot of universities out there that will be happy to let you compete on their teams. A lot of universities are starting up esports programs. Um, I think that it's very important for students to think about what they want out of university before they think about where, like, who can I compete with.
Yeah.
You're going to have a bad time if you go to a university that you hate, that you end up hating, because you can play Rocket League with them. It's not going to be worth it. So first and foremost, find universities that you'll actually enjoy, and that requires you to spend some time thinking about what you want out of college. What sorts of programs you're interested in? Do you want to go places that focus on a lot of extracurriculars or internships, or that will have research opportunities or study abroad? Those are all important questions to ask beforehand. Do you care about being in a big city or in the middle of nowhere, public or private, religious or not?
Hmm.
I think before you start thinking about esports programs, you have to do all of that, because it's not worth playing somewhere when you hate the rest of it.
All right. Well said. Well, thank you, Russell, so much for being here today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a bunch.
Yeah.